This news blast is brought to you by Haven, or Helping All Victims in Need, Armstrong County, Pennsylvania. They will be hosting a series of focus group discussions about domestic violence for rural parts of the county from March through May. To learn more about these, visit the Pennsylvania Equality Project website, paequality.com. From the PEP Radio newsroom, this is the latest news blast. Anti-LGBTQ Michigan State Representative Josh Schriver fled reporters on Tuesday after he made a brief press statement explaining his non-binding resolution telling the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage rights. Gay State Senator Jeremy Moss sat in front of Schriver during his statement, and as Schriver fled reporters calling after him, Moss addressed the media while calling Schriver's statement bufoonish. Schriver began his 5-minute press conference by saying, "I won't be taking any questions." Afterwards, he then claimed that the court's 2015 same-sex marriage decision defaced the definition of marriage, undermined our God-given rights, increased persecution of Christians, and confused the American family structure. He also said same-sex marriage undermines the legal and moral foundation of this republic, even though early U.S. marriage laws allowed for children as young as 12 years old to marry adults. He then claimed the court's decision deprived children of a fundamental right to be born and raised by a mother and a father, though over 23 million children in the U.S. live in a single-parent family household. He also claimed without evidence that children raised in same-sex families face greater developmental delays and challenges with education, employment, and self-sufficiency, even though numerous studies refute this. At the conclusion of Schriver's press conference, he fled like a sniveling coward. At that point, Gay State Senator Jeremy Moss walked to the lectern and told reporters this was just as buffoonish as I expected it to be, calling Schriver's resolution another hateful and harmful attack against the LGBTQ community that has fallen flat with people in the state of Michigan. People respect their LGBTQ neighbors, their LGBTQ family members, Moss said. I don't think there's a lot of people sitting at their kitchen table thinking about their neighbor's marriage and how that poses a problem to the well-beings of their futures and their families. These marriages have been the law of the land for 10 years, Moss continued. They contribute to family security. They contribute to economic security for people here in the state of Michigan. And we have real problems facing Michiganders. He then noted that LGBTQ parents are more likely to take in vulnerable children who are kind of lost in the state foster care system and looking for a loving family. Michigan Democrats have been pursuing a bill that would enshrine same-sex marriage in the state's constitution. In 1995, the state's legislature passed a law banning same-sex marriage. In 2004, Michigan voters approved a state constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage. However, in 2015, a federal judge ruled that the state's bans were unconstitutional. Despite Schriver's claims about the lack of a constitutional basis for same-sex marriage, pro-marriage lawyers and judges argued that the Constitution's equal protection and due process provisions require the government to treat all individuals equally under the law unless there's a compelling government interest or widespread social benefit to doing otherwise. The lawyers who successfully litigated against same-sex marriage bans argued that the bans harm same-sex families, their children, as well as companies seeking to retain LGBTQ employees. They also argued that the bans further no compelling or proven social interests since same-sex families can contribute positively to society. Opponents of same-sex marriage have primarily argued that the unions force Christians to recognize marriages that go against their own religious beliefs. It's right up there with divorce, folks. It really is. Go figure. That's our news blast. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. If you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to click the subscribe button. Up next is the local forecast for the Meadville area, right here on PEP Radio.